final stage in the process is to produce a three-dimensional model of the whole ride on this three-dimensional computer drawing system, which allows us to produce perspective views of the whole ride and manipulate those views to make sure that the final ride itself meets the client's requirements.
But we've only got like a 4-month envelope to build this thing, and you couldn't build it on the park from scratch in that time span. So we've pre-assembled about 1.5 miles away and travel down big pieces. The main design are trestles, but because it's such a confined space, they're having to develop single columns that are a lot bigger and more solid than the rest, so they can. The footprint they leave is a lot smaller than the conventional trestle.
Meanwhile, back at Boffin Control, someone's already worked out what the ride should look like. Not as much fun as Sonic the Hedgehog, though. But all this is going to need a lick of paint, and I'm not talking about 2 tins of emulsion. Again, the answer lies in Bolton. What is it about Bolton? A firm that supplies the odd gallon of matte for a certain you-know-who's you-know-what. Is that the Queen Mum waving?
Well, the great thing about galvanising is it provides a layer of zinc all over the steel. Now, this is great in terms of long-term performance, but the bad thing is trying to find a paint system that will stick to it. And this is a real problem. And it's taken us 8 years of research and development with the galvanisers to actually develop materials which will stick to galvanising, which will be available in a range of colours. Once we've got the basic adhesion onto the galvanised surface, it is then based on 2-pack technology. Now, this means that we can give excellent chemical and abrasion resistance, which helps during the actual building of the process. Following on from that, it also means that the long-term durability, the gloss retention of the system, is far greater than an ordinary, say, an undercoat and gloss that we'd use at home. It's going to be at least 15 years before anybody needs to go back up on the ride to even think about painting it, and it'll probably last for much longer than that. In fact, it'll be, I should think you and I will both be dead and buried by the time it's ready for repainting.
And apart from anything else, Lee's have got a machine like this. Is it R2-D2's big brother?
Hello, it's Anne from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Hi, I believe Brian Robinson spoke to somebody the other day with regards to accommodation for the American coaster enthusiasts. Right, can I actually reserve their accommodation? 27th, 28th and 29th of June.
Oh, it's the middle of winter, and brass monkeys with tears in their eyes are out looking for welders. But work must go on.
Well, the ferocious winds that we've had have precluded any high-level work, but we've managed to keep going on the relatively low-level stuff. However, the freak snow we got the other day really put a stop to everything. Everything was so slippy, it was treacherous up at height, anywhere in fact.
Well, there's so many safety devices, of course, in this, and I hate to give away all that because you like to kind of think that you might be able to come off, but there's so many safety devices on these rides that it's impossible for it to come off, or in fact for you to come out from the car. In local areas, there's not only the soil conditions, but there's earthquake conditions, wind conditions, and all that, and basically it's been designed taking all of that into consideration. So there's no problem with it. As we've stood on the top of it, you can feel the wind moving the ride, and in fact that's normal and that's expected. There's a small amount of vibration and movement, but that's all normal.
You'll need more than a set of ladders to paint this lot. In fact, what you really need are abseilers, smart Alec.
The actual job's quite simple. It's just a matter of applying 2 coats of paint to all the exposed galvanised steel. But it's such a big structure that it takes you a long time to get the hang of where you are on it and keep a record. Then there's other complications that come in. The weather has been quite a big problem because of having to build it over the winter period. And then now the park's open at various times, and so we have to work along with where the people are. Obviously we can't work above people.
It's not actually open to the public yet. It opens to the public on the 28th of May. Yeah. No, what's happening at the moment is we're running the tests on the ride. That's probably why you've seen people...
Do you know what time she rang this Radio 5? After 11. Hello, Kate, it's Helen O'Neill. I'm fine. Are we still going ahead with the programme on the... Great.
No, I've not seen that. I'll give the fax number, 0253. All right.
Yeah. Yeah? OK. So it's 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. live. And it's Liz Kershaw and Mark Whittaker.
Until all the tests are complete, we can't allow any members of the public onto the ride. No, I'm afraid you can't go on for the test. It's not safe to...
But I could get you a consultant engineer who's done some stuff for me for the Des Lynam. How do they do that? Who's a good talker. And our engineer is a good talker. I mean, we can get you a couple wired for sound to just say, you know, the ride is now going up. They've spent the last 4 years building it, Kate. If they don't know anything about it, then we're in big trouble.
OK, you're very welcome. All right, bye-bye.
People are now turning up in droves. Usual code of conduct goes something like this. The member or joint member of the general public parks opposite the ride. The aforementioned person or persons then point up at the ride. Some can't resist a closer look. And finally, you have your photo take. Hey, father, look at the size of it. Yeah, people park, they point, aye, etc., etc., etc. Osteopaths will have a field